Last time I made this video there was 23 skins, but now there are 38. In this video I will rank all 38 skins based on how good the skin is, their weapon, soundtrack, and jump scare. So that this video won't be longer than it already is, on the left side of the screen you can see a graph of how much I like the specific part of the skin out of 10. Enough talking, let's begin. Pandy is at the bottom because of it being so ugly. The skin itself doesn't look good with its color palette and design. The weapon is just the baseline, what you would have expected from a panda skin. The soundtrack is also pretty good, feels like something from the background of a horror video explanation on YouTube. And the jump scare sound is sudden and loud, and the animation is just a normal one. In conclusion, something I would never use. Little brother is here because it's just so plain. It's just Piggy with a white eye and a blue dress. The weapon is nothing special because many other skins use it. The soundtrack is just Piggy's theme slowed down, which I think is better than the original, and the jump scare is just a normal granny sound with a simple animation. It's fine, but I wish it got an update to look like the actual George in the story, since that would make it so much better. Piggy is the baseline of all these. It's basically a blueprint, so it's nothing special. Skin is normal, the weapon is normal, the soundtrack is fine, and the jump scare is also normal. It's nothing special at all, and it's just something Minitoon based as first skins off. Mother is still the normal Piggy skin, having one of the nicest colors I know of, and the rest being blacked out makes me not have that many problems with the design, except that it's just Piggy, but recolored. Her weapon is normal, her soundtrack is just Piggy's theme but even more slowed down, and the jump scare has the same sound effects and animation as the blueprint. Overall, it's better because of its color. Green is my favorite color, and out of the normal Piggy family, not including Grandma, this is the best. It jumps off the normal blueprint by adding an accessory, which makes it more unique in the long run. The weapon is just the bat, the soundtrack is Piggy's soundtrack, but even more slowed down, and the jump scare has the same animation, but it's the first to have a different sound. It's just a normal one but slowed down, but hey, change is still good. Daisy is probably the most wise skin ever. Like, why make a new skin which has nothing to do with the story and is just super plain? Her weapon is just a bat with a spike, and her soundtrack is just super weird and hard to explain. And the jump scare is a little loud, but at least the jump scare animation is different. Now she uses two arms to attack. Overall, why? Sheepy is fine, nothing special. I like pink, it's a nice color, but it looks okay. Her weapon is the first to not have a bat, which makes it fine. The soundtrack is just a blueprint, but more different to make it lighter to sound kind of innocent. The animation for the kill animation is the normal one, and the kill sound is just sped up. The skin is okay. Mimi has kind of a weird color palette. The idea of a mole is good, but the glasses are a bit out there. The weapon is good, with it being a pickaxe, which fits because it's a mole. The soundtrack is very mysterious and cool, which I like very much. The jump scare animation is the same, but the kill sound is just loud and gross to listen to. Mimi is fine, but there are some parts of the skin I don't like. Grandmother is surprisingly good. Purple is one of my favorite colors, making this much better. I like her accessory, and the weapon is just a bat. The soundtrack is super slowed down, simulating that she's old, and the jump scare sound is just someone screaming, not making it good, and the animation is just the same. Overall, she's good. Kitty looked awful before, but her ears not fitting, making her look like a hamster, but now she actually looks like a cat. Green is my favorite color, as I said, and I like orange. The pink nose is understandable, but still a color that doesn't mix well with horror. Her weapon is just a shovel, which is cool, but I don't understand why it's here. The soundtrack is just scary build-up, which restarts over and over, making it not so good. The jump scare is the normal animation and weird sound. The skin was hot garbage, but at least it's a bit better now. Zompiggy is a cool skin. I really like the skeleton part of it, and it's exactly what I imagined the zombie skin would be in Piggy. Its weapon is a skeleton hand, which is pretty cool, but the standout part of the skin is its soundtrack. It's so intense and exciting, and I love it. The jump scare sound is just yelling, and the animation is just the norm. Overall, cool skin and amazing soundtrack. Teacher has a great design. I love the eyes, her dress, and the concept. The weapon is what you would expect from a teacher skin, and the soundtrack is one of the best. The jump scare scream is super loud, and when I heard it the first time, I jumped because it was so loud. And the animation is the same. I really like Teacher. Before I talk about the actual skin, I just have to say that the soundtrack for Angel is hideous. Easily the worst soundtrack in the entire game, which gives the soundtrack a 0. On the other side, I really like the skin. The blue eyes, the halo, the wings, the dress, all are good elements and make a good skin. The weapon is a staff, which I thought would be something different, and jump scare is just a norm with its sound being not good. Overall, good skin, terrible music. When I heard the skin was in the game, I thought to myself that it would be bad because of the neck being too short or too long. But when I saw the skin, I actually didn't have that many problems with it. I like blue, but the eyes are a bit tiny. The ears are also weirdly shaped, almost looking like a house. The weapon is a club, which is an acceptable upgrade from the bat. The soundtrack sounds like something you would hear exploring nature in a horror survival game, and the kill sound is loud as normal and has the same animation as almost everyone else. I like Giraffe. Ellie is a good skin. I like orange, which fits with her eyes and dress. Her weapon is very hard to explain, but it looks very cool. But the best part of the skin is the soundtrack. It's so eerie and makes me think so much. When I listened to the song to see where I would put this, I totally zoned out and began thinking so much. The song is amazing and I love it. Out of all the jump scare sounds in the game, if you showed me this sound and wanted me to guess what animal it came from, I would actually guess an elephant because it really sounds like one. The jump scare animation is also unique, showing off this comically large weapon. Overall, good skin, amazing music.
Seems like he does it.
Wow, I gave the skin more credit than it deserved. Memory is good, but it's still a reskin. The weapon is just a bat with a new color, but the soundtrack is where it's at. It's very creepy and something that really fits the skin a lot. The jump scare has a normal animation with something even more loud than anything else. I like Memory, but I put it too high in my previous list. Dinopiggy is green. You understand why I like it. Its pattern is cool, but I don't have that much to say about the skin itself. The weapon is super cool, having the claws as the weapon is a very good idea, which makes it better. The soundtrack is very fitting, making it better. The jump scare sound is logical, and the kill animation is amazing. I enjoy Dinopiggy a lot.
I would actually use this.
What? Number 6? What was I thinking? I like Foxy, but he isn't top 10 material. He is plain, having very good color that I don't have that many problems with. The weapon is just a kitchen knife, and the soundtrack is just circus music, because he was in a Cajun circus. And the jump scare is just that he stabs you with weird noise. I like Foxy, but he isn't that original. Doggy has a very basic design with a good concept. His weapon is an axe because of him being in the forest when he was infected. His soundtrack is really bad, and his jump scare is just a normal Piggy kill effect slowed down. I like Doggy, but he isn't really that good. I'm disappointed by the fact that she can't crawl on events, but that won't affect the ranking or placement of the skin. I really like the skin itself being pink and purple. The weapon is half of a nunchuck, which confuses me on how that's supposed to be lethal, but the soundtrack, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that good. My favorite instrument is piano because of it being able to sound so elegant and beautiful, and this song is one of my favorite songs in the entire game. It sounds so tragic and sad, making me love it. The jump scare is normal with screams. I like the skin and love the song. Soldier doesn't seem to be that popular of a skin, but I really like it. The design of the skin is very cool with the infected side and clothes. His weapon is a combat knife, which is fitting, and the soundtrack is just marching. The kill sound fits very well with it being an infected army man, and the animation is just that he stabs you. I don't see Soldier get enough recognition with this awesome design. Beary is a very good skin at the top, but he's very basic at the bottom. I wish more skins got more detailed clothing than just colored basic Roblox body. His weapon is a scalpel, which is very big, making him very creepy. His soundtrack is fantastic, being so ominous, and his jump scare is amazing. He stabs you in the stomach with his scalpel and yelling like an actual bear, making it more realistic. I really like Beary. He has many good features, but I wish he had more clothing. Clowny has a great design. He has a great design for his clothing, and he looks exactly what I imagined the clown skin would look like in Piggy. His weapon feels a bit out of place because of the circles on it, which look like they came straight out of paint. His soundtrack is also great and fits the circus theme perfectly, though I can't show it because of copyright. His jump scare is also great, with him spinning around for show and maniacally laughing. I like Clowny, but he has some weird features. Poley is an event skin that has a fantastic design. I've complained that skins don't have that detailed clothing, but Poley has that. The coloring of his eyes are good, and his police outfit isn't basic. His weapon is fine, nothing special, his soundtrack is ominous and mysterious, and his jump scare is okay. I like Poley, but some parts of him are a bit basic. Tigry has a pretty basic design with an amazing jump scare, weapon, and soundtrack. I like the design of his head, but not the bottom that much. His knives are cool, and a dual wielder as a concept is super cool. His soundtrack is mysterious, but what shines is his jump scare. I love how he attacks, the sound isn't too loud, and it makes the weapon stand out a lot. I love Tigry's jump scare and soundtrack, but not the skin as much. Parasee is a skin that showed up one day and everyone bought it for some reason, but I really like the skin actually. Its eyes are really cool, I like the color palette, and the arm sticking out of the back is one of the best features. Its weapon is just an arm that attacks you, which worked on Dinopiggy, but not here. Its soundtrack is hard to describe, but the people on this video describes it perfectly. Sounds like they're knocking on the door. And the jump scare is just him attacking you with his hand and making a weird noise. I like Parasee, but he doesn't have that much of a good soundtrack or weapon. Badgy is an office worker with a great design. I don't really understand the weapon, but I think it looks really cool. His soundtrack is really scary, definitely something that would come out of a horror movie. His jump scare is famous with the normal animation and an okay sound. I really like Badgy. Pony is one of the most popular Piggy skins I've seen with friends, but I don't really see it that much. The skin is a little basic with no clothing, but the weapon is kind of funny and surprisingly effective. But where it shines is its soundtrack. It's definitely one of the best in the game. The jump scare sounds like a horse and it's just him slicing you. Pony is good with an amazing soundtrack. Robby has a great design which I wished had a bit more unique coloring on the body. The design is very good with the broken and evil eye. His weapon is a chainsaw, which is really cool. His soundtrack is very mechanical and ominous, and the jump scare is notorious for being super loud and annoying. I like Robby a lot. While Angel is not really that good, Devil is one of the best. His design is amazing, but I still get annoyed by his wings, which isn't a part of his hitbox, which is understandable, but I see people escape through me so easily when I use it, which annoys me a lot. His weapon is what I would have expected from a devil, and the soundtrack is just very quiet but sounds scary and creepy. His jump scare is just screaming and stabbing you. I like and enjoy Devil much more than Angel. Skelly just showed up one day and everyone thought it was cool. It's basically just a default Roblox skeleton avatar with a piggy head on it. Its weapon is his fists and the soundtrack is bad. The jump scare is him attacking you with his fists and yelling. The Skelly doesn't have that good scores for the last three, but the skin looks awesome. Torture has a great design with detailed clothing and fitting head. His weapon is a flamethrower, which I admit looks very cool. His soundtrack feels like something that would come out of a suspenseful moment in an action movie, and his jump scare is great. I love Torture in every part of his skin. Billy to me seems like a very underrated skin. He has a very cool design equipped with clothing and everything. His weapon is very cool and his soundtrack is suspenseful. His jump scare is amazing with him drilling into you. I feel like very few people actually talk about the skin, but I think it looks really awesome. After all this, after the not good, the fine, the okay, the good, the very good, the fantastic, and finally, the big boys. These are the skins that I use. Bunny is the most popular character in the game with an amazing skin. Its design is very good with a scratched eye and good coloring. Her weapon is fantastic with it being a crossbow, which is awesome. But one of the standout parts of the skin is the soundtrack. I love the song the skin plays. It's so tragic and sad, which packs so much emotion into one song. The jump scare is also awesome with her shooting you from a distance. I like Bunny, but it's still not #1 potential. The Piggy community knows what they're doing, and giving them the ability to make their own skin was a very good idea. People think that the addition of Ghosty was unfair and everything, but I still like the skin. I think the translation from the drawing to the model was very smooth, but I think it should be a bit taller. Its weapon is a common pirate sword, looking good. His soundtrack is like a horror movie pirate film, and the jump scare is him roaring at you and stabbing you from the side weirdly. I like Ghosty, but it's still not my favorite fan-made skin. Sizzy is one of my favorite skins in all of Piggy, but has been topped by 2 newcomers. I love when in Piggy the character gets a more unique design than the one from the show, and this helps wonders. Its weapon is a foil, which looks really cool and fits the fancy vibe a lot. The soundtrack is also my favorite in the game. I love it so much and it sounds so good. The jump scare is also really good with her slicing you left and right and then stabbing you in the end. I love Sizzy, but there are 2 more that tops it. Mr. P is one of the best skins. He has an amazing design with the robotic parts and his iconic hat. His weapon is a laser cannon, which is awesome. His jump scare is also really cool with him grabbing you and shooting. I love Mr. P's skin, but it's still not my favorite. This skin is a parrot. I know, I'm biased, but it's not just because of that. I actually think the skin's design is really amazing and good. I love the pirate hat, the tail, and the color palette. It amazingly captured the design of the original drawing. The weapon is its hook, which it stabs you with. The soundtrack is pretty simple and normal pirate music, and the jump scare is really cool, but still, why is the jump scare sound of a chicken? I'm a bit biased for my opinion, but I still love the skin regardless. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me your opinions for the skins, and please don't spam me to make an update because 1 new skin was added. Also, people have been constantly telling me to make a soundtrack ranking, a weapon ranking, or a jump scare ranking, but I don't have to make them because I covered my opinions on all of them in this video. Remember to follow my Twitter for updates and teasers for new videos. It will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.